Here are 3 super simple things that you can do right now to start stepping up your game as a pet parent. The first one is make sure that you're washing your dog's bowls, not only their food bowl, but their water bowl also. Just this past November, there were 7 cases of salmonella in 7 different states, all stemming from dog food. There was a case study done that ran from 2006 to 2008 that found that 79 cases of salmonella were reported and 48% of those were children. Because kibble is cooked, I think that we tend to think that it doesn't have a chance to go rancid and get bad and create bacteria, but it definitely does. And the reason why we see so many children have getting salmonella is, I think, because we keep dry dog food down way longer than what we would like canned food or wet food or raw food or anything like that. Kids get curious, they crawl around, stick their hands in there, put their hands in their mouths, or simply eat it, and now we got salmonella. How does this happen? That's because kibble is traditionally sprayed with a bunch of flavors and oils and fats, and those oils and fats will go rancid over time because they're touching air and oxidizing, and we get all kinds of different bacteria, including salmonella. But I think a lot of pet parents also don't wash their water bowls as well because it's water. Well, when your dog sticks their face in that kibble and then sticks their face in that water, now you've just spread bacteria. I wash my dog food bowl after every single meal because I feed raw. I like to wash my bowl once a day, every single morning, or if I start to see like floaties in there, this gets washed at least once a day. The second thing that you can do to be a better pet parent is to watch your dog take a shit. I get guilty of this because I live in a house and it's really easy for me to open my door, let my dogs go do their thing, not watch what they're doing, and then let them come back a few minutes later. But you're really missing the opportunity to make sure that everything's coming out nice, good, and solid. I encourage you to watch something leave your dog's butthole at least once a day to make sure that there's no diarrhea, there's no mucus, there's no blood, anything like that, because if your dog does have an issue, it's important for you to know how long it has been going on for. And the last one is something for those of you guys who feed a dry kibble to do, is to simply replace at least 10% of that dry dog food with a less processed food. This gives our dogs the opportunity to get better nutrients from whole food sources, to eat less carbs from that kibble, and then for you to kind of play around with what works for your dog. After you've done about 10% for a couple of months, for a couple of weeks, and you're comfortable with that, maybe then you want to increase that amount to, maybe about a quarter of your dog food. Replacing just a little bit of that kibble with something fresh is going to make a huge difference for your dog's health. Some good things to add are some pasture-raised eggs. We also love to see some veggies in there. If you're doing things like leafy greens, spinach, kale, anything like that. Broccoli, make sure you steam that. Carrots are also best steamed, so that way it's opening up the nutrients, so that way your dog can really get all of that good stuff in. Small oily fish like mackerel, anchovy, sardines are going to be a fantastic game changer. Fermented veggies, mushrooms, saute some mushrooms, stick those in there. Mushrooms are just a huge powerhouse of a food. And then, of course, things to get in more probiotics, not antibiotics, probiotics, things like goat's milk, kefir, or probiotic yogurt. If you're interested in me diving deeper into any of these topics, make sure you listen to our podcast episode about this. That can be found on Spotify, Apple Podcast, or wherever you listen to podcasts. And it is the Pup and Away podcast.